please subscribe to our channel.
Good morning and welcome to Real Life with Andrea. This morning I am on my way home from driving my 8-year-old to school, and it's a really quick drive. It's just a couple of minutes away, but oftentimes I'm by myself, which is a rarity, and I get to contemplate many different things. And this morning I'm just thinking about how God really has intervened in my life in so many ways to show me the things that I've been asking of Him. And one of the things that is so hard sometimes to swallow is how long I have ignored His hand in my life, and because I didn't like what he was telling me, or I was nervous, or I was scared, and so I said, I'm not really sure. And so, like Gideon going into battle, right, and he's asking God to prove that it was him, and well, I'm not going to ask God to prove that it's him. I'm just going to keep on thinking about it and contemplating and mulling it over. And just sometimes it's overwhelming to think how much time you've wasted not doing the things that God is calling you to do and moving in the direction that He has for you, even though you say, you know, that what God has for me is the very best thing for my life, but it's too scary. It is way too scary. And I am so thankful that God is ever patient. He has so much grace and so much mercy. It is unlimited, and that He never fails me, and He never gives up on me, even when I'm digging my heels in. So I have just been praying so much that God would get rid of the things in my life that He does not want there, the things that are taking up space and time and energy, that are keeping me from being able to be focused on what He is calling me to do, and to help bring clarity to what He's called me to do, which, you know, sometimes that's just an excuse to delay. But in this case, I have really seen, as I have made a conscious effort to open my eyes and look at things that God is removing from my life and seeing them for what they are, God's hand and God's mercy in helping me and guiding me, even though sometimes I feel very upset about the things that He's removing, things that I've been comfortable with, things that I have enjoyed, things that have brought in income, things that, places where I felt like I was ministering to other people. And I think sometimes that it's hard to remember that just because God calls you to a specific ministry doesn't mean that it's going to last forever, and that sometimes He brings you someplace for one reason. And several times in my foster parenting journey, I have had to consider that though I thought that I was going to be foster parenting certain children for a long period of time, and even into having them as a permanent part of my family, God had other plans. And my role was to give them some stability and to speak truth into their lives, and to help to foster a permanent situation for them with families who needed encouragement, who needed resources, who needed help, and that would really ultimately long-term be a better fit for these children that I had in my home. And it's hard to let go, but I know that God has shown me repeatedly that my role in these kids' life was never meant to be permanent, that it was meant to be that interim, to give them life, to be able to share the gospel with them, as well as with other families that have come into our lives. And I have helped to move in a direction of more of a permanent situation. So all of that to say that God is so faithful, even when we dig in our heels and say, I don't don't really think so. I mean, why would you be asking me to give that up, God? I mean, it's a really good thing, right? It's a good thing that I'm doing. I'm sharing the gospel. I'm raising children in the church and with your word, and I'm praying over these kids, and I've seen such a great change in their lives and in their attitudes. And so why would you take this from me? And it has taken a minute for me to realize that that was my role, and now it's over, and I need to be open to what's next. So just because something that you are doing in your life is a good thing, a positive thing, and you're even still doing it really well, doesn't mean that God's not going to take it and move you on to something else. So pray for me this week as I am having to adjust to changes that are happening or potentially happening in my life and in my setup. It seems like I just get into a routine and into a situation where I feel like things are moving well, and then God's like, whoop, let's change it up. And so being flexible and being movable and being teachable and all these things that sometimes can be really difficult is a really important thing when you are wanting, desiring, recognizing that God is working in your life, and that sometimes it's hard to swallow. Thank you for your prayers. If you want to see more content, please consider subscribing to the channel. Also, leave your comments below. I love to see the comments. I want to speak to the things that people are looking for. So I will be adding content here and there that is just random, that people are asking about. And I look forward to growing with you in the Lord. Thanks for your time.